Evaluation question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms of conventions of real media products? Our brief. We chose to create a short action film about a photography intern who catches her boss shooting another intern and blackmails her. We wanted to use some existing media products to inspire our work, but include features that challenge conventions to make the film unique. When planning the story, we looked at a short film called Pivot, which featured a man being chased after catching footage of someone getting shot. Then, after grabbing the gun, becomes the chaser. This inspired us to make the protagonist fight back against the shooter, which made us create a fight scene, another common feature in action films. However, when watching the film, we noticed the lack of connection between the characters, so we decided to challenge it by making the protagonist and antagonist know each other before the protagonist sees the shooting, as this would make for more character development and a better confrontation scene. When looking at action films, we noticed a majority featured men, so we decided to challenge this by having a female protagonist. We decided to make the boss a woman, because it is very unique to have two women as main characters in an action film. The fight scene also challenges conventions, as it fights the female stereotype that women are weak. We created the female characters before adding in the affair plot, and didn't want to change the gender of Sam, as she and Helena are meant to show the different kinds of women, and didn't wish to change the boss's gender, as we liked that it challenged conventions. This meant making Sam a lesbian character, as she is in love with the boss, and making the boss bisexual, as she is attracted to Sam but is still married to a man. This challenged convention, as very few action films include lesbians or bisexuals, without making it cater to a male audience and making the characters a stereotypical lipstick lesbian. When planning, we had to challenge conventions, as we had no budget, so couldn't afford to buy props that would look as realistic as the ones in Hollywood films. We needed a gun prop, so had to buy a toy gun and spray paint it, which is something most Hollywood films wouldn't do. Due to our lack of funding, we had to film in college, something that goes against most film conventions. However, since the film is based in an office and has a general outside scene, it is not very noticeable. We also challenged conventions as we didn't create a set, but used an existing office space. We filmed using one 7D DSLR Canon camera, but in most films there is more than one camera used to film from different angles. We followed conventions when using the boom microphone and pole, as it gave us better sound, and the track and dolly to do a tracking shot, as they are professional pieces of equipment that would be typically used in most films. We went against conventions by only having a small crew of actors, a camera operator, boom operator, and a production assistant. Most films use much bigger crews, however we could not. We found continuity sheets online, which were used alongside a clapperboard by Emily, the production assistant, to write which takes went well and which didn't. These are common in filmmaking, as they make it easier to find the good takes when editing. As we had such a small crew and no budget, we did not use stunt doubles for the fight scene like most Hollywood films would. We rehearsed the fight scene with the actors so it would go smoothly and safely, then filmed it slowly to have the speed increase during editing. This is something most action films do, as it keeps the cast safe. We followed conventions when editing, as we tried to copy the fast-paced editing used in Soft, one of the films used for inspiration, and other action films. They increased tension by quickly cutting between shots. We tried to use this to use tension in our film. We also used common techniques such as shot reverse shot and reaction shots when editing, as they make sure the audience is focusing on what you want them to focus on. Although colour correcting is hard to see, it is always used and can add a meaning to a scene. We decided to use it and make the final confrontation scene more stylised with a blue tint to the undertones. This followed the look of Interpretation, another film used for inspiration, during the fight scene. It also made the film look more professional. One of the other ancillary products we chose to create was a poster. When looking at other action film posters, we found a poster for a film called Knock Knock, which featured 5 different pictures in a row, one of which was a close-up of eyes. This was used for inspiration, as it allowed us to show different elements of the story. The title is a big part of the poster, so we wanted it to look professional, therefore wanted to use real film posters to inspire us. We used this title, Exposure, in a font that makes it seem like it was written on a typewriter, as we like the common idea of making the title link to the film. The title looks like a typewriter to link to her journalist career. On all of the professional posters we looked at, they included credits at the bottom, so we decided to include credits at the bottom of our poster to make it look more professional. Most posters have a colour scheme of a few colours, so we decided to keep to a colour scheme of blue, black and white, so it looks clean and professional. We looked at possibly adding in more colours to challenge conventions, but it created too much of a contrast. A lot of professional posters included reviews, but we decided against it as it made the poster look cluttered and we wanted it to look minimalistic. Most professional posters include a tagline, so we decided to include one to give the audience more of an idea about what the film is about. Our tagline is, "Some secrets weren't meant to be captured," which hints at the plot that there is a problem with a secret. For our second ancillary product, we created a double-page review for the film. A common feature in magazine reviews is having the background as a picture from the film, usually involving the protagonist. We followed this as it took up the open space in the middle of the page. Another common feature is having screenshots from the film in the empty space. This allowed the reader to see the different parts of the film and the different characters involved to attract more readers. When looking at a review of Sucker Punch, we noticed the first letter of the text was larger to catch the attention of the reader. We liked this, but felt it was too dramatic, so made it only slightly smaller, so it caught the reader's eye, but it wasn't too demanding.